I can see my left arm moving. That's about it. Just put the Zoom icon down the bottom.
Gotcha. That's us.
Yep.
All right, we're good?
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Josh, I appreciate it.
I'm Jen.
Good evening and welcome to the Borough Park Summer Council meeting, February 7th, 2024. In attendance, we have Mr. Beston.
Here.
Ms. Lopez. Present. Ms. Simmerl. Present. Lister Corolla. Mr. Mitchell.
Here.
Mayor Kelly.
Here.
Ms. Kehoe is absent. Mr. Guzza.
Present.
Mr. Shields.
Present.
And Chief Young.
Present.
We'll stand for a moment of meditation and then we will have
I pledge allegiance to the flag
First item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Thank you. And second by Steve. Thank you. Next, we have the approval. All in favor? Excuse me. All opposed? Favors have it 7-0. Next is the approval of our minutes. That's for our regular council meeting on 9/6/23. Our council work session on 9/27/23. Our regular council meeting on 10/4/23. Our council work session on 10/25/23. And our regular council meeting on 11/1/23. We have a motion to approve all these meetings.
I'll make a motion to collectively approve all 5 of these minutes.
Thank you, Bob. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ronnie. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it 7-0.
Thank you.
Public comment or input. We have Janine Ford here tonight, so if you would like to take the podium, Janine.
I will, thank you. I'm Janine Fort, for those who don't know me, I lived at 408 Center Street for the past 20 years. And I just want to first, I'll make it very brief, but I just want to say thank you all for who participated in the Ice Festival. That was just fabulous this year. I went down for the parade, I went for all 3 days. I went down for the parade and on Saturday, I had friends actually that I worked with that I brought in from Homesdale and their daughter, and we did the horse and carriage ride, and it was just really wonderful. And it just brings so many people. People were from all over, I mean, other states,
Exactly, yeah.
New Jersey. They're like, oh, we come every year for this. And I was like, oh my God, from New Jersey, you see the license plate, Connecticut, you know, New York. And it was really wonderful. So I'm so glad that we still do that. I hope we never lose that.
Yeah, and it was our 20th year, so that was.
Yeah,
really
and the weather was
nice.
perfect. Oh my God, it was all clean and dry and it was a little warm. But that was like easier to be outside than when it was. Yeah, I know, yeah, President's Day, so, except for the one that's right outside the building, that's still there in the corner. Yeah, so, I just wanted to just kind of bring it up to date. I've been having issues with my neighbor next door. It's 5 years. And, just because like we're in the borough, and I just think that the borough people and council needs to know, I have another hearing, in front of a magistrate in Scranton. I had a hearing, 2 hearings already up here with Judge Keeler. And this one's going down to Magistrate Gallagher. So I have to kind of rehash and relive the last 5 years of what I'm going through. But it's just, you know, I chose to live in Clark Summit to raise my 2 kids myself and to have protection and safety and, you know, feel good about where I'm from, because I'm from Clark Summit. And it's turned into nothing short of a nightmare now for the past 5 years, living right next door to this guy, which is 100 decks, so 500. And I just find it kind of unconscionable that someone who lived like right down in the borough, you know, with eyes and ears and everything, doesn't conduct themselves, you know, neighborly. I don't even like to say it's my neighbor because neighbor is supposed to be a good word. So I can't even refer to him as, you know, neighbor anymore. But
Is there something, Janine, you think that we could do?
I just wish
we
the
have
zoning was
the
different. I mean, I
council?
just seen him abuse the zoning, you know, where he's at with his business across the street and he snow blows and it goes out into the street. I mean, he was snow blowing up and down. It was hitting my house. I mean, I had to call the police that had been over to my house a couple weeks ago and he drove up on my, I mean, there's just so, you know, I'd have to stand here for an hour to give a whole list of all the things that have happened in the last 5 years. I just wish that the zoning could be looked at a little bit more over in that corner, by,
As far as
you know,
running the
Miles.
business, you mean?
Yeah, on the other side of the street. I know it's zoned commercially up to where he's at and what have you, but I mean, talk about, I mean,
That's,
there's abuses
Yeah.
going on over there on a regular basis. There really is. I mean, he blocked off, almost blocked off one side of the street when he was decided to cut down limbs. And then he had wood chip and he wood chipped into the stream bed. Well, the stream bed is notorious for flooding. We've had, of course, as we know, the last major flood that we had, like the 100-year flood.
yeah. that's
And,
always
you know,
been
you have
an
someone
issue
who's
there.
kind of, you know, contributing to it. So, you know, I filmed it, called the police about that and, you know, mention it. So it just seems like,
I know Jen is our code enforcement officer. in
Yes,
the borough.
yes.
We've talked about it. There was nothing
Yeah.
that we were able to do. It's more of a neighbor to neighbor issue, which
Right.
happens sometimes.
well, it is, but it's not, because again, there's definitely what I would consider some violations as far as like what he's getting away with across the street, but you literally have to park a police car like right over there. And, you know, Chief Yarns knows, you know, my situation as well. I just wish that the zoning was different over in that area. It just gets,
I'm not aware of any kind of zoning problem.
yeah, not as far as the
As
zoning.
far
that's
as
the
the other
neighborhood.
charges, you know, somewhere else is involved in it, the dependent change, change of venue. Got to kill it, and then go to the.
Yeah.
I think later in September,
February 22nd.
so I don't want to discuss it here, I have court here,
Mhm.
but we'll do that at Gallagher's office. And I'm hopefully bail, but we'll see.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just,
Well, thanks for
Didn't
bringing it
know.
to our attention.
yeah,
At
I
any
just,
rate, and
it's, like I said,
if
it's
there's
just
anything we
it's
can't.
kind of been awful and, it's an element that exists right here in the borough. And
Yeah.
I think that you should be aware of that, you know, when you have this toxicity that's been going on. I mean, we're not talking 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months,
Oh,
we're
sure,
talking 5
sure.
years of this person just, you know, like I said, you know, I feel like I'm the prey and he's the predator, literally.
Yeah.
So I like to want to go home, you know, but I go home, and I really have fear and what have you. So
Miles.
thank you all for this thing. I so appreciate all of
Okay.
you to be here. I feel like, you know, at least I can come to and just share some of it, you
Always
know.
you can do that.
Sometimes, like, I
absolutely.
feel like I can't trust anybody and it gets
Yeah.
scary. And so it almost makes me want to cry when I feel like I at least can stand in front of my council members and, you know,
Sure.
my extended family, so to speak, and just let you know, right, what's going on.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
we'll see how it turns out though, but we'll keep an eye on it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Janine. Okay. The next item on our agenda is our police report.
Well, the police report is here, you can see. I don't know exactly what's going on with the state regarding grant money for the Aggressive Dragon. Seems like I spoke to Michelle, the people that the DO's office, and there's some sort of computer problem in the state that's causing the delay of these funds. Well, they're told we're not losing any funds, we're probably just getting more of a bulk rate rather than piecemeal it. So, waiting to hear from them. I'm not sure, what, I know Virginia was working on some leasing ideas. For police
Right.
cars, and I don't know where she's at with that, I was hoping to think we're gonna give a more, a bigger presentation.
Yeah.
both were involved in that, but I was really. So I'll do it. Table that, so I don't know if that's not the any agenda.
I haven't seen any update on that either.
Yeah, I know Enterprises, we have a couple meetings with another meeting with them next week. And, the idea is with lease the cars and then they'll do the maintenance on the cars. Part of the program. And
Right.
They try to get rid of the cars when they have still have value and take them back and give us new ones.
Right.
Kind of thing, and that was not just for the police cars, actually it was in the DPW vehicles too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's something we need to sit down with the finance committee and so they can get a better grasp of this and
You're right.
so I think that they more, I don't wanna give a speech here, I think I'd rather have the finance committee be involved in some
Right.
deeper. It doesn't, on its face value, it doesn't sound like a bad idea, but I think we need a better meeting on that, so I'm not sure.
And it certainly would work when we have numbers to work with too.
Right.
Once you find out from them
Right,
exactly that. You know,
yeah. I know, so we got a little time now, Virginia had that's sick, and I had some issues with my family, and I'm kind of with that. And I'm not sure exactly where we are with the Ransom Township thing, I know there's some language going back and forth between the attorneys. You know, the as and is's and the its and the, you know, that kind of stuff. So I spoke to the supervisors from Ransom Township and I explained to them that we're still working on, they didn't seem like they'd be upset by it, they said, we'll wait, you know, we'll figure it out, so they're very patient. They're prorated when they're ready to do something. Unfortunately, we're in the winter months, it's not as bad as the summer months where the problems are, well, when they get more. Like, you know, people outside, they see the they're not inside.
Yeah.
But that's where I don't, does anybody else have any updates on that? I didn't have more, really. Yeah.
What about the civil service exam? I don't know if that's something that Virginia would be familiar with more than you or.
I thought, I know, I don't really get involved in that too much. I know it's supposed to, but, you know, my understanding is, you're all done with all the,
She said there's a list.
there is a list.
She told me
They
there's a
know-
list today, but I don't have anything, but
Oh,
she
no.
wanted to let everybody know that it's.
Okay, because I know they have to meet, the Civil Service Commission meets, and they certify a list, and they forward that list.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
So it looks like we're moving in the right direction. on
Yeah.
that if we have a list.
Definitely.
Right, and I wanna move forward with this, but
Mhm.
I don't wanna rush it and then bungle something, you know? And I know that the attorneys are working on the language, and once they finish it, I guess we could discuss it, you know, and vote on it eventually. But fortunately, I don't think they're in a huge hurry as I thought they were.
I know we did get red lines back today and I've been looking at them and it looks like what has been changed was agreeable based on our conversation last time. I don't know if you had a chance to review any of them based on our conversation or Bob, if you did. I don't know if are we at a point where we feel comfortable approving this or do we need one last look at it?
I don't know if we can approve it. I think right
Not
now,
yet.
I think Attorney O'Brien put our revisions in, but I'm
Okay.
sure he's gonna have to go to solicitor for ransom.
All right, they've not gotten additional.
Right.
Okay, I wasn't sure
Attorney
if this came back
Scapini
from
is a
them.
solicitor from that and they'll hammer out like a final draft and then it'll be probably.
All right, so next month.
And then we'll all vote on it,
Yeah.
the supervisors.
All the changes that were made are discussed at the last.
Yeah.
So they were,
Attorney
okay,
O'Brien.
okay.
I think we're fortunate because the supervisors are easy to me. They just very
Yes.
flexible, trying to work with us and they're not
Yeah.
pushing us or, you know, with my sense.
So we should in all likelihood then be in a position to actually approve an agreement a month from now at our March meeting.
That makes sense.
I would think so too.
We were concerned about that back in December, that we would be ready to March anyway.
It was gonna be a
We thought February, but I was pushing it.
But it'll have to be like a mutually agreeable to the solicitors. Once they approve it, then it'll go to the council for final.
Yeah,
Or supervisor.
we should be able to do that.
And the final thing is, there was some of you probably, most of you should have known about this. This is an officer that we've been dealing with hasn't worked with us for a while, and hasn't put any shifts on for a while. He's still on our roster and considered a police officer here. That's Nelson Morales. Nelson Morales was convicted of an M1 stalking charge, which disqualifies him from being a police officer in the state of Pennsylvania. He also has, had a PFA hearing. The PFA hearing was considered a permanent, hearing or it's the final PFA hearing, and that's gonna stay in effect until January 2027. But based on that, he's no longer available to perform duties as a police officer. I would ask the council to consider terminating his appointment here, because I need to move forward with this.
Jerry, I'll make the motion that council terminate Mr. Morales from the Clark Summit Police Department immediately.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it, 7-0.
Just so you know, this was prepared already by the solicitor. And this is what they want to do this. So, by both labor attorney and public.
Yeah.
And they'll handle it, we don't do a resolution, I guess I'll handle notice to the.
I'm gonna need some sort of letter, either from Jimmy can put it that it was voted and passed at a council meeting, included in file. Then I have to let MOPEC know about what occurred today. So, and I have to fill out a special form for this termination of resignation. Under the Act 57 law, it came out in 2020.
Okay, very good. Well, it's up to the mayor if you would like to.
No, any other questions for our chief?
I think we've covered
From the
all
audience?
bases.
Oh, one more thing, we had, one of our officers, Tim McCoy, resigned this week.
Yeah.
We did that, and just, personal life has changed, he's just not available. He was here for a while, but he's cutting his hours back. And I also anticipate one other part-time officer doing the same thing for similar reasons. Just, you know, his wife was a stay-at-home mom, and now decided to go back to work. And he doesn't need to work as much, so now he
Right.
decided to cut back, because he is a full-time school teacher, so he wanted to.
They were two part-timers.
Both of them part.
Oh,
Chris, do you have any resumes?
I have one guy that approached me today, and he's supposed to email me, like, an email, an application, that he fills out.
Well, let's hope we send one in.
All right, if there's nothing further, we can dismiss the chief.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yep.
And next item on our agenda is our bids and quotes. Our 2014 Dodge Ram 3500.
I had these, I put three copies here. This was after 3 o'clock today. Everything was bid on. We just need council to vote to approve these bids.
And Jen, do you have any like details on this, just for the public on how we bid these? I guess this is it's a municipal bid.
It's municipal, yeah,
So it's like we listed with them for a certain amount of time.
Yep.
This is seen by all municipalities.
absolutely. We had somebody come to actually look at the at whatever vehicle that they, they wanted to check it out. Our DPW gives all the specs online, so everything is open.
So we give a lot of like there's notice, there's no, this is, we don't know any of these
Absolutely.
people, everybody's.
Oh, no,
Really?
absolutely. Yeah, they could be from anywhere, quite honestly. As long as the bid goes through, they're good. That's it. But yeah, no, it's
And
open to
we have the
everybody.
winning bid amounts on the back of
Yep,
it.
the winning bid amount is on the back of each one.
I'll make a motion then that we accept all three bids.
Well, actually, maybe we could,
Do we have to do them each individually?
yeah, maybe we should put the price on it just so people would know.
Whatever
Sure.
you like.
I'll make a motion first then that we accept the bid for the 2014 Dodge Ram 3500 at 11,200.
I'll second.
And on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Favors have it 7-0. Thank you.
I'll just keep going. I'll make a motion that we accept the bid on the 1990 Gravely tractor at an amount of 700.
I'll second.
Do we have a question? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it 7-0.
Then I'll make a motion that we accept the bid on the 1990 Billy Go vacuum at an amount of $180.
Then I'll
Yeah.
second.
Yep. G.
I'll second.
Okay, on the question, all in favor? All opposed? Favors have it 7-0. Okay, the next. 1990 Gravely Tractor.
No, we did it.
We did
We
that.
did all three.
We did all.
Oh,
We did them all.
we
They're on
did.
the
Oh, yeah.
treasurer's report.
Thank you. You're on the ball. Tony. Thank you. Okay, for a treasure report. There's a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the January 2024 treasury.
Thank you, Bob. Do I have a second? I'll second. Any question? All in favor? All opposed, favors have it, 7-0. Thank you. The next one is the vendor payments to be ratified. We have a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Thank you,
Second.
Kathleen. Second by Steve. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, favors have it, 7-0. Under old business, our sewer report for January.
Yes, and I'm sorry, Virginia received an email.
Right.
I just have to text her to see if we need to actually discuss that outright, so I'll double check that, but yes, so we're getting ready to do the shutoffs. People were posted the second time. So we started out with 193 letters. And, it's 2 payment arrangements right now. I believe at last count today, I'm gonna say like around 3, there were still about 30 people that I haven't heard from. A lot of people make payments online and a lot of people come in at the 11th hour on Friday.
Right.
And the shut off doesn't happen on Friday because it's our process starts. But what happens is there's additional fees as we keep moving on. So on Friday, I give Virginia a list. She sends this list to the water company.
Right.
And then that's another $50 charge for whoever's delinquent.
Right.
And then the water company comes back, gives us information as to some places are already shut off for one reason or another.
Sure.
If not, we proceed with that. So that's where we're at. So we're just kind of at the end of it, doing the same thing that we've been doing for years. So
Okay.
we'll probably just get a lot of payments in there.
The 11th hour, they'll be piling in.
Yes,
probably.
on Friday. Yeah, and I'm gonna find out about, somebody had sent her, Virginia an email. The gentleman is not here at the meeting, so I just need to see if it needs to be discussed. So
Okay.
we can keep
We
going
can
on and
always
I'll
come
find
back
that
to
out.
that.
And Jen, you have payment plans? How do you do
Only
that?
2, only 2.
Pretty flexible with that? I mean, if someone shows that they have hardships and they have,
Yeah, I mean, 99% of the time, at this point, people are so aware of what's happening. The only people that are surprised are the renters. Because we post the door with a yellow paper that says the shut off's gonna be happening and they call me. You know, they're nervous. I say, just please have your landlord call me. We'll take care of it. Those are the only people that are really blindsided by it. Pretty much everybody else knows it's there. And they know it's due. The payment arrangements are probably split up 2, if not 3 payments. It's not that much. We don't go too far out with that.
Sure.
So not bad. And we keep on them. And there was one that did not keep up with the payment arrangement. And we keep going into the shut off then. So that's what'll be due. You know, it's void pretty much. So.
that's what you've been doing for years.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right,
Stable. So it's
yeah.
good, well, which is good, you know, but, yeah. So that's it. Just 2 of them.
So thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Jan. Under, the next item is our civil service exam update. I think Jen.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Civil service update. Virginia just said that, like she doesn't have anything to present, but they are there. I believe there is a list.
Okay, and they've all passed their.
I believe, I don't want to say because I don't
Okay.
have any more concrete
Well,
information.
we can table that till. our
Yes,
next meeting.
yes,
Okay.
yes, please.
Thank you, Jen.
Oh, and then the next, the TCC and the vacancy board, we need a vote, Bob Bennett volunteered for that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, I'll make a motion to appoint Bob Bennett to the TCC board
TCC and vacancy board.
and the TCC committee and the vacancy board.
Second.
okay, on the question, all in favor? All opposed, favors have it. Bob is our new PCC And vacancy board member.
Okay.
Thank you, Jen. Nothing under new business. And then our solicitors report.
Pay cut ordinance I'm reviewing from what Mary Claire had discussed with them previously, so I should have something by next meeting for that to
Okay,
propose. We have a proposal from Carbondale that they did, so I was working off of that and trying to review the emails
Oh,
between Mary Claire and the individuals that she was in discussions with, so over them on Friday afternoon. They forwarded me everything over the weekend, so I'm just in the process of reviewing that. As far as the PUC finding, we have appealed that. We're just waiting on notice for a hearing.
oh, okay.
So there was a fine in that, we have appealed it because we did respond to, with the emergency. That was based on the Frontier issues that the digging, so. That hearing should be happening probably the next 3 months. I'm trying to see if I can resolve that ahead of time. To
Good.
provide them documents that we want to go down for a hearing and bring down some of the individuals from the borough to testify for that.
I don't know that I'm immediately recalling to mind the details of that. What is that issue there? And do we have any potential liability?
So there, all there would be a fine at this point. They assessed a $2,500 fine for failure to respond to the emergency. There's a digging incident with Frontier last April.
Okay.
And obviously Frontier was fined. There was other individuals from PP&L that were fined for not responding properly. So the PUC issued notice in April. There was a formal letter in December that was forwarded. We had to respond in 30 days. I responded denying our liability for that. And I have an email from last week saying they are going to issue a letter setting a hearing for us disputing our liability for that fine, essentially.
$2,500, that's
Well,
worthwhile.
I don't think there's anything that was wrong on our end. There was no,
Exactly, yeah.
the response from the borough was appropriate. I think in review of my emails and what they provided to us. So I think it's kind of an oversight. of the PUC thing.
So this was not our DPW digging, this was,
This was Frontier digging underground cables, and essentially there was a marking in the ground. They did not read the markings correct and hit a line, and there's an issue with that.
Right.
But hopefully I have an answer as far as when the hearing's gonna happen, if we can resolve that short of that hearing. Hopefully that's the case.
Yeah.
Always drag down members of the borough down there. Employees to testify.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your. good report, Ruby. Thank you. Correspondent Shannon Brown. He's not here tonight to.
It's in your packet, what he's, noise ordinance that he
Yeah.
proposed, so it, would have to be looked into.
I had an opportunity to speak with Shannon. And
Did you?
I did, yeah, and I guess, some of the issues he has is he's just having some issues, I guess, with some of his neighbors. There's a pool, which he says is kind of loud. He's had a neighbor who was doing construction work at 7:30 in the morning on the morning of Christmas Eve. But at the end of the day, though, it's just, he's looking at trying to either have a very strong ordinance or not have an ordinance at all. I guess he feels that it's kind of right now we're in limbo, but I'm not sure exactly where we stand. I don't know, there's not much we can do
Right.
with some of his concerns. so.
Exactly, yeah.
So
Yeah.
the time is what he's concerned with that we.
He would want,
listed, or-
he wants to have it all day. He wants to have a noise ordinance all day, and he feels that there's health effects and damage done by noise, that it's a whole concern for the public. But at the end of it, again, it gets back to the fact he says his neighbors just haven't been very neighborly. I think we have Ms. Port in here talking about people are just not maybe as respectful
Sure,
as
it's
they could be.
unfortunate, but
I don't know if we
that
can-
happens to be life,
And I think it's very hard to legislate that.
You're exactly right.
I think the 10 PM to 7 AM restriction on certain kinds of noise, that protects him from that construction noise having been at 6:30 AM instead of 7:30. Which I think when we all voted on this, and obviously Steve, you weren't here then, but agreed that that was reasonable. So I still believe that is reasonable. I'm not sure what else, to say about that. We can't prohibit construction noise at any time of a resident's displeasure,
Yeah.
essentially.
You can't prohibit a resident from enjoying their pool during. I'm assuming they're doing daylight hours, which would be.
It is. He said it usually a couple hours a day, referred to it as similar to like a Halloween shriek fest. There's just kids.
Right, it's not like a frat party, it's kids enjoying the pool during the afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Seems like an unfortunate situation.
well, it is, I mean, you can't put muzzles on the kids when they go in the pool, you know, so. We've lived through that ourselves, so we know the whole drill there, but
I mean, I don't know. You know, Drew, if you think there is anything of substance in his complaint that we would want to consider as a change to our ordinance, it would be worth an opinion from you on that when you have an opportunity to really review it, but I feel pretty comfortable with the 10 a.m. to 7 or 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. restriction, for example. I would not be in favor of removing that and making that 24/7, but if there was something else
Yeah.
of substance that we should consider, then we should do that.
No, I think, I mean, I reviewed it briefly, I think the 10 a.m. to 7 a.m. is reasonable, I think. You kind of have a slippery slope if you try to do all day long and you try to restrict certain activities of residents. Absent multiple complaints from different entities, so I think as it is right now, hopefully I'll review it further and keep everything that's in there. That would make sense, but I think as it stands right now, I think it's appropriate and reasonable. I think that's a standard.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Josh. I'm comfortable with that. Also, I am. I think it's reasonable.
But I think if you give it another review and say there's, one thing we ought to change, that's just good due diligence on our part to consider that periodically and
I'll
update as appropriate.
I'll get that, I'll review it, and I'll have an answer for the next meeting as to if anything should be changed, given the complaints.
Thank you.
the unfortunate thing is, though, we do change it for one thing, then we're gonna start snowballing. and, Oh, what about this issue? What about that issue? So I think we've all agreed on that, and of course, when Drew checks it out, he's gonna find out that any of the other boroughs or townships have about the same
Yeah.
time limit as us and stuff, so we would be in compliance with that, so I think
Yeah.
in that respect, it would be on target, so.
And Jerry, before we finish up here, and I apologize, can I have that top paper right there? Thank you. So, there was a gentleman in town, his name is Robin Vellis, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at something really quick here. Okay, so he emailed to find out if there was a payment arrangement. Now, he came to me yesterday. Just to preface, I sent out the letter of delinquency in December. Then the bill comes out. Then, so many people make payments. We got to the point where now we have posted them twice. Friday is when the shut off starts. So we're kind of at the end of the line. He had come in, he wanted to make a payment arrangement before Friday. He gets paid his wife, she gets paid Thursday, the husband gets paid on Friday. They're wondering if there's a possibility that they can pay close to the full amount. There's no specifics here, number one. Number two, council can judge on the information I gave here as to the payments that have been made. You can see the amounts that have been made on the right-hand side. A monthly payment for this person is 104 because they have 2 units.
Yeah.
So you can see the payments that have been made, delinquent or on time. Last payment was August of 23. This person can pay, I don't have I wish I had the full amount. It was somewhere around 900 and some. But if I'm not mistaken, I think that was also for February and March. Okay, so if they paid through the end of January, that's all we could ask for.
Right.
So that's up to council if you want any kind of, if you want to go further with it. He's not asking a certain amount. I don't know exactly what he's asking for from the email.
And on this payment history you're saying is that he hasn't been consistent with his monthly payments.
Correct.
He just pays when he wants, and he pays large sums just.
Correct. What you can do too, even besides the amount, if you look at the dates, which is the third column down, you can see, just pick any year and how many payments were made in that year. And that's where you can see, that's where you can also see that it has to be consistent. So whatever council wants to do, they did not give us a specific payment arrangement they were interested in. So I really honestly don't know what they're
Yeah.
looking for.
I don't think we can approve anything if we don't have any specifics on how they're gonna make the payments.
Well, that's a very good point. We don't have a number to work with. Jim.
Right.
If you could let him know that if he wants to bring it up to, so that it would be up to date till.
We'll do through January would be what everybody in town does. It's the same. Everybody,
Exactly.
there's no preference at all. It's a.
We would approve it if he can pay that up to the end of January.
You said there are two people on payment plans now. Are those payment plans that we approved at some point in the past? Or
No, you
those-
don't approve. I approved because it happened a while ago.
Okay,
When they make the letter that we said, please call us
Yeah.
to make a payment arrangement. This is before they were posted or anything. This is people that say, oh geez. You know,
Yeah.
I'm behind on this, what I need to make a payment plan, and they keep up on it, like I said. So it's different than like people that come on Friday that say I need a payment plan. We're at the end at that point.
Sure.
I have a question. Is this his first time as a shut off?
No.
No, okay.
What was the old Jen?
I believe it was in the 900 range. He has 2 units though, so it's different. He has 2
Yeah.
units in his house. But that's why it's so much. It's not the usual, like it would be for somebody else.
So this is not his first ride around the block. He's been doing this.
Correct.
Yes.
This is since last August, right, Jen?
Well, the last payment was August of 2023.
Right,
That
yeah,
was just the last payment that we received. so.
right. So, as council, we would approve it if the number is what you give us, that it would be paid at by the end of January. That is the only number we can approve this by. Otherwise, we'd have to proceed with, the shut off.
I don't know if council wants to vote on it or if we're just.
We can vote on it to be safe with it, I would think.
What do you
What
think?
do you think?
So payment by the end of January
Well,
is what you're saying?
He would have to pay by Friday when the shut off starts, Friday at 9 AM.
It's Friday,
Right.
At 9 AM.
And then, but it would be just through January, not February and March,
Right.
which has already been billed. It's already. he
if
doesn't
that
know
makes,
it.
if that makes him current, if you were to do that, why do we have to vote on anything? We're not making any exception.
I agree. It was just from his email. I didn't know if you had to.
No,
you had to do
so I
anything.
guess what you're saying is that he's looking to do a payment plan, but we just don't have the specifics on exactly how much the payment plan is. I mean, do you need us to authorize you to enter into a payment plan with him? I mean, or? is that-
No, his email was very vague. What he's saying is, I want to pay, we get paid, I want to pay Thursday and Friday. That's fine. That's what we would tell anybody is you would pay Thursday, Friday by a check here by 9 AM on Friday before we
Right.
start the process. He said he could pay Thursday into Friday. I don't know. It wasn't specific enough for me to say he wants to pay this much by Friday. So I can't, it's very vague.
Could you let him know that, the council, the only approval we will give is if he brings his account up to date by the end of January.
Right, okay, counts, okay, right,
900 and some dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise we'd have to have a specific request to consider.
exactly.
Oh, sure,
Right.
sure.
That's what I mean. It's too vague.
There's
I
no
don't
action
know.
we can take.
Right.
And I mean, I guess if he comes up with, you said it's 900, he comes up with $850 and he says he can get $50 on. Monday.
Absolutely.
We will authorize you. to-
Absolutely.
to
It's
what you
within,
think
it is
your
within
discretion.
reason. I agree with that completely. Absolutely.
This gives you some guidance as what direction. to
Terrific.
go with it.
Terrific, okay.
Also, as I mentioned to Jen, I was speaking with a gentleman who's in a wheelchair on Bosberg Avenue, Bosberg Street, in Park Summit, West Grove. He
Oh,
said that
yeah.
there's a lot of tar on it. And in the summertime, he goes in his wheelchair down the street.
Oh.
So I think Virginia's gonna take a look into that. And also there's a lot of bumps into it too. So he's really not being able to enjoy taking walks with his wife.
Oh,
So hopefully Virginia can look into that and we can see.
Mhm. I'm sure I would think she would talk to Jay probably about taking a ride and
absolutely, yeah,
taking a look at it.
Very
So,
good.
Either
Thank
she
you.
or Jay. Yeah, no problem. I have my little list.
okay, yeah. We can certainly get that straightened out one way or another, at least it's brought to the attention and we can do something about it.
Yep.
Okay. Does any other council members have any other questions for? Then we just need a motion to adjourn.
You need to note the executive sessions first.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
excuse me, I forgot those. We had prior, during, and subsequent on 1/2/24 contracts and none for joining subsequent. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion, are we adjourned?
I'll second. Oh, yeah.